Well, the deadly cyclospora outbreak is growing, now spreading to more than a dozen states.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the illness is linked to iceberg lettuce. Atlanta News First Niamani Watson is live just outside of the CDC headquarters in Decatur. Niamani, what do people need to know?
Well, 6 more states were added to the list, bringing the total number of states affected by the cyclospora outbreak to 15. Now, health officials say they tracked the illness to Taylor Farms iceberg lettuce used at restaurants like Taco Bell and sold at some grocery stores. The CDC says the parasite has sickened more than 6,000 people. At least 270 have been hospitalized and 2 people have died. Now, Georgia has no confirmed cases so far, but it is one of the states where Taylor Fresh Foods distributed recalled lettuce products from June 29th through July 16th. And food experts say this parasite can be tough to trace because scientists can't grow it in a lab. They only have what they find in patient samples.
It's not a bacterium. So cyclospora is really different, basically, in terms of all biology from Salmonella or E. coli.
Unfortunately, the more cases that occur, sort of the better our ability to work through those systems and find some of those common threads.
Now, symptoms include watery diarrhea, loss of appetite, and fatigue. The FDA and CDC strongly recommend washing your hands and produce thoroughly. They also say cooking can kill the parasite. Reporting live outside of CDC headquarters in Decatur, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.